You should sing at the podium. Yeah, but they're going to start here soon.
Hey, Sean. Streaming on live view at 8 TV. Okay. You bet. Okay.
Okay, it's already back up, so you won't see anything now. In a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Chris. All right, bye.
Okay, it's coming up again.
Everybody okay on white balance, Sean? Ready for these? Okay. I just called up to homicide to let them know we're set up.
Nada más 3 personas, que yo tuve que ser presentador de las noticias.
Okay.
Uno estaba la victima y dos, su esposa y su amante de página allá en México, tenemos esposas, no sé, desde su visa de trabajo.
It is?
Ahora con muela, so it was like 8 years to do the homeless.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué onda?
¿Todo bien?
¿Todo bien? ¿Tú qué onda?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Okay, hang on. Let me give you a mic check to make sure.
Anybody streaming? Want to know?
Oh, we are.
You
What's
are?
that?
Yeah.
Mic check.
Pretty sure
Check,
we
check,
are.
check, check.
Because we have
Mic
this.
check. Okay, thank you. Bye.
So my name is David Fugit, F-U-G-I-T-T. I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department Homicide Unit, and I'm the lead investigator on the latest homicide that occurred in the city of Austin. So I just want to kind of give you a basic timeline with regards to notification, when and how the decedent was found, and then I'll answer any questions that you may have after that point. So on Sunday, the 17th day of March, at approximately 0809 hours, uniformed officers were called out to the victim's residence. The victim in this case is Juan Angel, A-N-G-E-L, Zapata, Z-A-P-A-T-A. Date of birth 2/18 of 1981, 38 years of age, and he's originally from Tabasco, Mexico. So the complainant in the particular case contacted 911 and indicated that her supervisor at the Cathedral del Morisco restaurant at 2711 East Cesar Chavez did not show up for work Sunday morning. She said he normally arrives around 7 a.m. and it was unusual for him not to call in beforehand to cancel. So she went to his residence and observed that his vehicle was parked in the driveway. The keys were present. She then just conducted a quick sweep of the residence. However, no one was home. She then notified other family members to see if they had heard from the victim, and they had not. The family members at that point had reached out to the victim's boyfriend, and he is the prime suspect in this case. His name is Juan Eduardo Rendon, R-E-N-D-O-N. Occasionally he'll go by Juan Rendon Nava, N-A-V-A. We have a tentative date of birth of 7/26 of 1998, approximately 20 years of age. Our understanding is that the victim and the suspect in this case had been in a dating relationship for a period of about 2 years, and it became serious within the last 6 or 7 months. About a month and a half ago is when the suspect actually moved in with the victim. However, the relationship was rather tumultuous, and over the course of the past couple of weeks, they had engaged in an argument and were calling off the relationship at that point. They were separating, and our understanding is that the victim had actually locked the suspect out of the residence. So at approximately 14:41 hours on Sunday the 17th, we received notice that family members established contact with Rendon to inquire if he had heard from the victim in this case. And Rendon purportedly told family that he had not heard from him in some time and that they had had an argument. Family then confronted Rendon and told him that they were aware that he had picked up the victim Saturday night from work, and that was about 10:30 p.m. So on Sunday at about 6:35 p.m., a gentleman was walking his dog out at the Onion Creek Greenbelt when he discovered deceased male. Uniformed officers responded, and they found the victim wearing his work clothing, and he had apparently sustained multiple gunshot wounds. At that point, obviously, we were trying to locate Mr. Rendon, but at this particular time and point, we just have not been able to. So we're asking for the public's assistance if they have seen or heard from Mr. Juan Eduardo Rendon to contact the police. We ask that you not approach him because we do believe at this particular point in time that he may be armed and dangerous. I know that was kind of a quick overview. If you need me to rehash any of that, I certainly can.
I understand that the gun that he had, is it true that the victim actually purchased that gun, according to the affidavit, for the suspect?
We'd received information that early on in the relationship, the victim had at some point purchased a firearm for the suspect. We do not know if that was the gun that was used in this crime or not. We did conduct a search of the victim's residence, and we did not locate a firearm.
Do you have any reason to believe that Rendon has already gone out of the city or the state? Do you have any concerns?
We don't know. We are aware that he does have extended family in Austin. We've been in contact with those family members, but we do not know the status of his current
It seemed interesting
whereabouts.
that Kimberly, and I don't know how to say her last name,
Guillen?
yes, that she was kind of certainly helpful in the investigation. Can you talk about that?
She was. So the employee who worked for the victim in this case was able to provide quite a bit of background information. She knew about the relationship and that they were going through separation at the time. And she was able to provide us with a key timeline with regards to the suspect in this case picking up the victim in the victim's vehicle, which was a 2016 white Hyundai Sonata. And she said that was on Saturday night at around 10:30 p.m. The body of the victim was not discovered until the following day at 6:35 p.m., so approximately 20 hours later. And to our knowledge, no one had heard from the victim in the meantime.
Was the victim killed at the Greenbelt or at the home and then brought to the Greenbelt?
That's something I'm not comfortable with getting in at this particular point in time.
Gotcha. Do you know if police were ever called out to this couple's house or had any prior intervention because there were, verbal or maybe physical altercations?
Not that I'm aware of. My understanding is that the suspect moved in with the victim about a month and a half ago. I did conduct a comprehensive search of our Austin Police Department database, and I do not have any activity that indicates that officers have been dispatched to that location prior to this weekend when the request to locate and the missing persons reports were filed.
Kimberly, in addition to, I guess, providing a good timeline and doing the welfare check, is that kind of unusual or not?
Not necessarily. And many years ago, I worked in the APD Missing Persons Unit, and we do get calls. And we go through and try to determine if there appeared to be anything suspicious at that point or any indication as to where the victim may have been. And based on the information that we've gathered, at that particular point, it did not appear to be suspicious, other than the fact that the victim didn't show up to work, which was customary.
Do you think Rendon had just been alone, or he have help from others? Because people at the restaurant say they believe he was more people involved.
That I don't know. And if somebody has some insight or knows of Rendon or his whereabouts, we certainly ask that they come forward and contact the police department. We're a couple days into this investigation now. We're trying to develop as much information as we can about both of these individuals, certainly the victimology of Mr. Zapata, as well as any background information that we can gather on Rendon.
The affidavit said some family members as well as the worker told police that in the past Rendon has threatened Mr. Zapata before. So as a police officer, when you hear stuff like that, does your heart drop right away, saying something is wrong, something should have been done earlier?
We do have information that Rendon had possibly threatened the victim in the past with regards to separating a relationship. And we're still gathering information. This is a very, very fluid investigation. And there may be other individuals out there as well that have information about the relationship, and that insight would certainly be fruitful.
You mentioned there was no history of APD showing up for altercations in the past, but does the suspect have any history himself?
Not that we're able to find, not based on the name and date of birth that we have. As I indicated, he has been known to go by Rendon Nava in AVA as well in the past, and there are some social media websites that he has profiles under. We've been able to gather some intelligence, but anyone that is close to him or knows Mr. Rendon, we're asking that they come forward.
And with that, I know several of the restaurant employees did say that threats had been made, or at least that the victim said threats had been made against him. Is that something where they should call police at that point, or is that something actionable?
I don't know at that particular time, because you have to look at the context in which it was made. I don't know what the victim's feelings were with regards to those threats. I don't have any indication that the victim had ever reached out to the police department to file reports with regards to that.
But that would be the appropriate thing to do, maybe, right?
Certainly, if an individual fears for their safety or believes that there's something that's actionable, we certainly would ask them to come forward and contact the police department. There are a number of different avenues that we could do to help reach out to them, protective orders, restraining orders, and just give them some type of course of action that they can take to protect themselves if they do believe that they're in danger.
It doesn't matter if they're gay or not, because sometimes LGBT people are
It
afraid to call
doesn't,
the police.
doesn't matter whatsoever, no. When it comes to that, there isn't a filter. I mean, we handle all those cases individually, and if there is what is believed to be a threat, we certainly want to do everything we can to safeguard that person.
Maybe in these cases, there are sometimes undocumented people don't call the police because they're afraid about the status, immigration status, how the APD work with these people.
That could be a possibility, but I can assure you that that is not how we approach the investigation, regardless of whether they're citizens of the United States or undocumented. If they fear for their safety, then we do ask them to come forward, and we're going to do everything within our power to ensure that their safety.
Do you know if Mr. Rendon took off in a car? Are there cars that anyone should watch out for, or any clothing?
So up to this point of time, our understanding is that Mr. Rendon had been operating the victim's vehicle, but we have since recovered that vehicle. Does he have access to others? He certainly may. Just not that I'm aware of at this point in time.
I probably know the answer to this, but how's the family doing, and how are they dealing?
It's tough. It's a lot for the families to digest and really take in and gain an understanding with regards to how this all played out. And we're picking up bits and pieces from here and there, and we're starting to get a fuller picture of what actually had occurred. But they've been very helpful, and they've been on standby. Should we need to reach out to them and gather additional information, they've been able to provide that. So it's been a great benefit to the investigation itself.
Last question?
Do you have a picture of the suspect to put out?
I do. I think I may have sent it to Lisa with PIO. It was a photograph that was taken off of his Facebook profile. However, I do not know the age of the photo, so I'm not quite sure how recent it may be, but it's one of the best pictures that we have of him at this point in time.
Thanks, Joel.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.